are in the winery, John. Here is your beautiful juice, your beautiful free-run Hunter Valley Semillon. Now the winemaking process begins. We have to convert your beautiful juice into wine.
Okay.
So how are we going to do that? What we're going to do is we're going to use 3 different yeasts and have 3 different characters for you. And that will give you options on the tasting bench when the fermentation's complete.
So what we've got here is our Semillon juice.
Yep.
We're going to turn that into wine.
Correct.
But not one style of Semillon, but those 3 different styles.
Yep.
And those 3 different styles will then give us an ability to blend what we want.
Perfect.
Yeast works with food. So what's the food it eats?
It's sugar. The yeast eats the sugar and produces alcohol.
All the sugar is going to be eaten by the yeast.
Correct.
A reaction's going to happen.
Yep.
And we're going to end up with wine.
Correct. What we've got to do now is we have to make that yeast up. What we're going to do is we're going to rehydrate the yeast. So basically what we're going to do is get the yeast all excited, get it in some beautiful warm water, and then we're going to let that cool and then put it in the tank. Okay, we've added the yeast. Now we have to wait for the fermentation to complete. That takes about 14 days. Every day, the sugar level decreases and the alcohol increases. But during that time, what we have to do is control the fermentation temperature. We've got to keep it relatively cool, around 11 to 15 degrees C.
And then after the fermentation, what happens then?
What we have to do is we go through a process of maturation, maturing the wine. And in your particular case, it's only going to be about 6 weeks to give us this lovely flesh and lovely flavour. Fermentation is the conversion of the beautiful, clean, pristine juice into wine. So the fermentation process takes about 14 days, but you have to control the fermentation temperature. Keep it relatively cool so that that will retain classic fruit characters, so the real character of the grape juice.
I always believe that grapes fermented themselves. I never understood that you had to add yeast to grape juice to make wine. So it all bubbles away and becomes something very, very different from that sweet glass of pure, clear grape juice that came off the vine. That in itself is a revelation. Grape juice, yeast, sugar, fermentation, wine.